Hi guys, happy Wednesday. It is hump day. It's a pretty good day outside. Pretty windy, right? But it was pretty gorgeous still. Pretty sunny, kind of warm. Today is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020, and it's our special holiday called Earth Day. So maybe if you guys did something special to celebrate, planted some planted some seeds of anything, flowers, vegetables, whatever you could do to get outside and help our earth a little bit. Maybe sorted your recycling or picked up some trash. It's a great way if you're going for a walk outside. You can bring a bag, some gloves for right now, and pick up the litter and trash that you see on the ground. Make sure you wash your hands when you get home, okay? 20 seconds, remember, at least happy birthday song twice. I want to hear it here at my house when you're washing those hands. Sing it nice and loud. So I'm going to do our letter of the week. Let me find my markers first. You know what? I'll use my silver marker. Our letter is the letter W, if you can see it there. 4 big lines, and they're all diagonal. We start at the smile, go down, up, up. And can you see me? I don't think you can. I'm gonna try and move you without knocking it over. All right. And it is, now you can see it a little better, right? Start at our smile, we're gonna go down with the big line. That's really pretty silver. Up, down, and up. It's gonna go all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. Down, up. Yep, that's right. So there's our letter W. Water, wish, wink, and wink with one eye or both eyes. I'm gonna move. Oh, and you fell. See that? I was trying so hard not to do that, guys. So I have a couple things to do for Earth Day, and then I have my one of my favorite books for the holiday and all together. But first I want to show you, now my little sun catcher is not quite dry yet. It's still a little sticky, but it's getting there. Looks pretty cool. It'll probably be another couple days. The outside is kind of dry and ready to go, but the inside's still kind of squishy and sticky and gluey. So I'm gonna put it again on my windowsill to dry a little bit more, and then we will check it out tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be dry enough for by Friday we can hang it up in the window and see how pretty it looks. So a great way to protect our earth and help it is to reuse things. And there's lots of different things you can reuse. We reuse some trash materials to make projects, like we did our bottle flowers and our little marionette puppet with the cardboard tubes. So we can reuse items like that to make them into something else. We can also reuse different things in our house, in our kitchen and in our bedrooms and everything. And so Lola's saying hi. Hi. So one way in the kitchen to reuse things is to reuse your kitchen scraps. And I like to reuse my lettuce, and you can do celery and carrots even too, is when you're cutting your lettuce bunches, if you just save the bottom, see it's just about maybe like an inch and a half of the bottom, and all you need is a little cup of water, and you just stick it in there, and it takes about a week, but after about a week you'll see some new lettuce growing that you can eat and you can use. It's just kind of like a baby lettuce. You can only really do it one time, but it's a good way to keep that from getting in the trash. You can grow some more, and I have 2, so I have 2 that I'm going to put into my cup. And I also want to show you, let me grab it real quick because it's on the windowsill. Another plant that I grew from the scrap is my pineapple. And so I just put this in dirt the other day because it was getting ready. But all I did was I cut the top of my pineapple off and took some of the leaves off the bottom of it, and it is starting to grow. And after a while, I'll start to see a little baby pineapple growing from it, and it's really, really cool. And it is a little brown around some of the leaves, but that's because I left it in water too long. But that's what you do. So you cut the top of your pineapple off, you pull some of these bottom leaves off right near where you cut it, just maybe about like 3 or 4 layers of leaves, and then you stick it in a cup of water. It will start to grow roots, and once it has roots that are pretty long, you can plant it into some dirt in a pot and it'll start to grow some more. So this has actually grown more leaves in the middle. Some of these are brand new leaves that just came out. There's one down here, and it's very sharp and very, very strong leaves. Do you want to leave the room? Let me let Lola out first, real guys. So those are some different things. So you can do celery the same way that I just put the lettuce in. Do you want to leave? God, I'll be right out. Celery is another great one that will grow, and you'll get little baby celery plant coming out. Another thing I really like to reuse are old t-shirts or sweatshirts that I really like and I don't want to donate. The best way to get rid of old clothes is to donate them to other people who can't, who don't really have enough money, or other people can use them too. So you can take old clothes and take them to a thrift store, or sometimes they have drop-off boxes, and more people can use them. But sometimes I have lots of shirts that my boys used to wear and I really like them a lot. So you could make a blanket out of them. I usually cut the pattern off. We really like this one. All my boys had the same shirt, and cut them into squares. And then if you know somebody who sews, or if mommy sews or daddy sews, they can make it into a cool blanket for you. But another thing you can do is make it into a neat little bag. And this might be easy for you to do with mommy and daddy. And all you need to do is you're gonna cut off the sleeves. I'm gonna cut these sleeves off real quick for you. You're just gonna cut right around to take these sleeves off. All right, I'm gonna get this other one off real quick. And then at the bottom down here, you're gonna cut some slits, and you want them to go up maybe about 3 inches. So you're gonna cut all the way across. All right, you're gonna go all the way across, and I'm gonna show you in a second. And then you are going to turn your shirt inside out. So you have it looking like this. You'll take these at the bottom, and this is where you might need mommy and daddy to help. And you're just gonna tie some knots with 2 strips for each knot. And I'll tie up what I cut here. She's gonna do 2 strips for each knot. I double knot them, and I missed a strip somewhere. You'll go across the whole bottom of your shirt to make these little knots with the strips that you cut. And I'll show you, I have another one here finished. So you'll go all the way across, and then that's it. That's all you have to do. Then you'll turn it inside back out, and you have this cool little bag. This was a shirt of mine that didn't fit so well anymore, but now I can put things inside of it. Like when we go out hiking, sometimes I'll put cool rocks and cool sticks or anything that we find in there. So you can take that out, and it's like a little tote bag. You could even take this to the grocery store with mommy and daddy when you go to the grocery store, when it's back open again for everybody. Or if you're outside in your backyard and you find some cool things, you could put your toys and stuff in there when you go to grandma and grandpa's house. But it's something very cool to reuse, something that you wouldn't be using anymore and you're either gonna throw away or donate. Lots of times there's holes that get put in your shirts, and if it's in a good spot, you could still make a pretty cool little tote bag out of it. So I'll finish this one up and I'll show you guys tomorrow what it turns out to be. But that's a really neat thing. And when we get back to school, you could use it. You could bring your show and tell on Friday in your little bag that you made. Pretty neat. Okay, so I have one of my favorite books and I have some props to use. I'm gonna put them up behind me for you guys. And I usually bring these into school so we can do the book together. These are my Trefoil-a-Trees. Now let's try and keep them up for right now. They'll go down later, but I have all my Trefoil-a-Trees here, you can see, and I'm going to read The Lorax. And I think you guys might know who the author and the illustrator is of this, because we just did a whole week of this when we were in school. He wrote The Cat in the Hat, and Oh, the Places You Will Go, and Green Eggs and Ham. And we had some mommies and daddies come to read some of his books for us. They were special guests when we were in school. We had Taya's daddy and Isaac R's mommy, and we had Davey's mommy come and read. And so this is by Dr. Seuss. He wrote the words, he drew the pictures, he's the author and the illustrator, and this is one of my absolute favorites. And this is pretty cool. It says there's something called the Lorax Project, and it's all about earth-friendly things. This whole book is printed on recycled paper. So this paper used to be something else, probably other paper, but it was recycled into the pages of our story. So at the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. Look, would you want to live in a place like this? Ugh, gross. So gray and yucky. Deep in the grickle grass, some people say if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. This is where he used to stand here. What was the Lorax, and why was it here, and why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. That's his house. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. There he is. You can see him peeking all the way at the top. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. You have to pay to hear the story. Put all your stuff right in this tin pail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. And then he hides what you've paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grubby-less glove. And then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Let's see what he's gonna say. Slop. Down slops the whisper my phone to your ear. And the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Oh, look how pretty. Look at the Trefoil-a-Trees. Look how pretty they are, way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean. The song of the Swami swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. How pretty. Here's the one star. He's coming in his little wagon to this beautiful place. Would you want to live somewhere